Later that year, smallpox broke out again in Somalia, East Africa. The rounds of searching for cases and then vaccinating started all over again. In Africa, there was no smallpox goddess, but Somalia was Muslim, and some men refused to be vaccinated by women. Dr. Krish took part again.
It's interesting to see that now, initially it was white inside, and now it's completely dark. And this will last for some about...
By the end of 1977, doctors had once more identified what they believed to be the last case of smallpox in the world. The sufferer was a worker at the local hospital, Ali Maleen, who had gotten it from a woman patient and her children.
This baby and his 6-year-old sister passed the disease on to Ali. He and his mother have been in isolation, waiting until he is healed. A patient is infectious from the time the first signs of rash appear until all the scabs containing virus fall off, a period of about 4 weeks. This baby will go home tomorrow. He is fortunate. His sister died.
Because he had worked with doctors, Ali Maleen knew the dreadful effect of the disease. He thought he was going to die.
I got the disease, and when I heard that one of the children had died, I assumed that everybody who got the disease died. I thought I was going to die.
Ali survived.
Definitely, I saw it as a victory. The fear was no longer there. We realized that if enough effort was made against disease, we would eventually be successful.
Celebrations marked the formal announcement that smallpox had been conquered.
The end of smallpox should not be viewed only as the closing of a magnificent chapter in international collaboration. It should also be seen as one of the launching platforms for our goal for health for all by the year 2000.
Every year, millions more children were surviving into adulthood as poor countries started to share the benefits of medical progress. But as more babies were born, their survival brought new problems. The countries of Central Africa had the world's highest birth rates. Every year, the population went up by 4%. As populations rose, fear grew that land, food, and other resources would be quickly overwhelmed. And this fear was not confined to Africa.
55,000 babies are born in India every day. 2 births every 3 seconds, straining our resources of food, shelter, clothing, employment, and welfare.
India's population had more than doubled between 1950 and 1975. The old balance was gone. There were fewer deaths and more children were surviving.
Family planning is an accepted official policy in India. But our programs will not succeed if it remains only an official program.
The government deployed a special propaganda elephant to take the message of birth control out to the people.
Family planning is truly a people's program. Its success rests on individual citizens. They have to be approached, persuaded, prompted and helped to practice family planning.
After a speech in favor of family planning, the governor commissioned Lal Tikon to go and spread the word throughout the rest of India. In return, she presented His Excellency with a packet of condoms, as she'll be doing to her friends for the next half-century or so. Then Lal Tikon moved off on her mission to the other 560,000 villages of India.
The pace was slow, for country people resisted the idea of small families.
I had 14 children. 2 of them died at birth. 2 of them survived for just one night. They died of tetanus. There were many children, because if there were only 1 or 2, you wouldn't know how many of them would survive.
In addition to the fear of losing children from disease, larger families meant more income.
You had many children because, suppose you had 4 and each one of them contributes a penny, then you would have 4 pennies. They would help you on the farm.
"You have 2, that will do," became the official slogan as the campaign was stepped up. Television reported the achievement of Bombay's leading sterilization doctor, Dutta Pai.
I tell you, I have done in Bombay 650,000 sterilizations during the last 10 years. I am the champion of champions. During this year, I have done 64,000. And believe me, I am a very honest, objective scientist. I remember those days, 1967 to 74. The program was being implemented with tremendous zeal, great conviction. A lot of effort was made to communicate the message to the minds of men and women. And we succeeded. You'll be surprised. There was a time where the whole city of Greater Bombay was laced with a number of family planning clinics in mobile buses, on railway stations, on street corners, and any time a person came, we say, "Come, see." He came, he saw, and he was sterilized.
The vasectomy operation for men was cheap and very quick. One willing volunteer was Vishnu Ogali.
When I decided to have the operation, we already had 4 daughters. We decided we had to have it so we could look after them and bring them up properly. We agreed about that. We didn't have a water tap at home at that time. My wife had a lot of housework to do. She had to fetch 40 or 50 buckets of water a day, and she became ill. It was easier for me than my wife, and we agreed it was best if I had the operation.
But as the government pursued birth control more vigorously, many people claimed they were coerced into having operations. The campaign was eventually stopped.
Some people went too far, and this led to a backlash. And as I always said, in 1976, there was so much talk against male sterilization and family planning that democracy won, but family planning lost.
Population pressure was greatest in China, with more people and more babies than anywhere else on Earth. Science had no easy answers. To control the birth rate, couples had to be persuaded or forced to have fewer children. The Chinese had a tradition of large families. In rural areas, 4 children were common. When the official policy became 1 child per family, resistance was widespread. But fines and enforced abortions were used to control family size.